Hola, I am your host, Boricua Angie, and you are listening or watching Thoughts of a Light Skinned Woman. Tonight's show is Are You Safe in New York? Anywhere. Tonight, my guest is Reggie. Before we start talking, I wanted to share some recent stuff that's been happening: the stabbing, shooting in the Bronx, in the train, the lady whose legs had to be amputated, the conductor who got slashed in the neck, and I'm just gonna give you more info from there. Um, so one of the ones that I wanted to bring up that I was just telling Reggie, um, and all us New Yorkers know of what's been going on now. I think it says like the New York National Guard members stand post as MTA police conduct back checks at Grand Central Station. So it seems that I feel if I'm correct, they're like in major stops, where it's always like busy, heavy traffic, So definitely where I work at, they're out there now. And it's funny because I've had moments where I'm just kind of like, I was like, I wonder if one day they're gonna stop me, because if you see the book bag that I be carrying, I got a bag, and I'm just kind of like, I was like, it would be so weird because it's just moments where I'm just like, I was like, you sure you want to go through my bag? Because I got like a whole bunch of girl, lady stuff in there, and my bag in there is just looking crazy. um, so I don't know if they want to go through my bag. It's like, you ain't gonna find nothing. All right, so the one that I wanted to talk about was the conductor who was slashed, and when I heard about that, I was kind of crazy. Um, I feel like it's scary, not even just for the passengers, but for the people who work for the MTA, because the part where it was just like, they always have to like stick out their head just a little bit, just to kind of see like what's happening. So it says that last Thursday, conductor Alton Scott, 59, was slashed at the Rockaway Avenue station in Bedford Stuyvesant, Brooklyn on Thursday. It says Scott was cut when he poked his head out of the conductor's cab of the Far Rockaway bound A train at around 3:30 a.m., cops said. A doctor on the train applied pressure on the wound until medics arrived and rushed the conductor to Brookdale University Hospital, where he needed 34 stitches and 9 sutures to close up the deep cut. It says police are still looking for the slasher. That's the messed up part.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard a follow up since that one. And then let me look for the other one. Like I mentioned, there was the one that was in the Bronx, where it was talking about some guy on the Bronx. They don't even know if he had got shot, stabbed, and I'm like, that's weird. So it was just like, so they're reporting news, but they're not really telling us. I just know that something happened on the train, and
Yeah.
I want to see the Bronx guy who was killed. I wonder if it was the D train on the train.
Surprised it wasn't the 4 or the 6 train. Crazy stuff happens on that train.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Hmm.
So then this has to be the story right here. It's scary to travel. Yep, this is it. It's scary to travel in New York, but I feel like anywhere, because we're gonna get more into it, because I was just watching a movie, but I mean it's not even just like, I think anything transportation wise. It says cause of death determined for rider killed in fight with trio on Bronx subway train, right?
Hmm.
So it says police now know what led to the death of a man who was killed during a fight with 3 people while riding the subway in the Bronx. The 45-year-old victim, identified as William Alvarez of the Bronx, died as a result of a gunshot wound to the chest, according to the city's medical examiner, which determined the manner of death to be a homicide. But questions still remain regarding the shooting death aboard the D train just before 5 a.m. Friday, such as a motive or what sparked the fight. Police have arrested 3 people: 24-year-old Justin Hurd, 38-year-old Betty Cotto, and 42-year-old Alfredo Trinidad, in connection with Alvarez's killing. Charges against the three were not clear, nor was the relationship between them. It didn't appear they had any prior connection to the victim. Attorney information for the trio was not immediately available. That's crazy. It says the
Yeah.
disagreement soon turned physical. Oh, wait. So, according to the NYPD, Alvarez was riding the southbound D train when the trio boarded at Fordham Road. One of them sat next to Alvarez. An argument ensued. The disagreement soon turned physical, and the other two suspects joined in to make a 3-on-1 fight. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, the train pulled into the next station, the 82nd, 83rd Street stops, and the three suspects. Yeah, that the way they make it sound like if they just joined in, that's kind of that's a little crazy.
It is.
Like,
Definitely.
why would you get into someone else's argument? And then the fact that, so then the last one, and then, like I said, we'll get into the talk, into conversation. The lady whose legs were amputated. The lady. Let's see if this is the right one. All right, here we go. You gotta love Google. You put certain things and it kind of pops up, like, you know what I mean? The right stuff that you're
Yeah.
looking for. Um,
Exactly.
hmm So it says women's feet amputated after being pushed onto tracks struck by subway. It says a woman's feet had to be amputated after she was allegedly pushed onto subway tracks by her boyfriend in Lower Manhattan on Saturday, according to authorities. Police found a 29-year-old woman on the tracks inside the Fulton Street subway station shortly before 10:30 a.m. New York police said they determined a southbound number 3 train struck the victim after she was shoved onto the train tracks. First responders rushed the woman to a hospital for treatment where her feet were amputated. First, I thought it was legs. You see how that works? Because I thought I heard legs, but
Yeah.
I'm reading feet. Investigators say the woman and her boyfriend were involved in a domestic dispute that led to the incident. It's unclear if an arrest has been made. She may never be able to walk again. This is just one of the many incidents we've been seeing this year alone. It says city data shows subway crimes are on the rise. You see, it's funny, they're saying on the rise,
Yeah.
with a 13% spike in violence compared to this time last year. It says last week, New York Governor Kathy, I can't even say her last name, I don't want to mess it up, announced the serious changes for New York City subway system following a string of high profile crimes, including two back to back shootings that killed two people in the Bronx and a slashing in Brooklyn. Um, Hochul said Wednesday that she will deploy 750 members of the National Guard to the subways to assist the New York Police Department with bag searches at entrances to busy train stations here. The deployment of the National Guard would bolster and enhance presence of NYPD officers in the subway system. The governor says she will also send 250 state troopers and police officers from the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, a state agency, to help with the bag searches. Police in New York have long conducted random bag checks at subway entrances through passengers. Um, it says though passengers are free to refuse and leave the station, raising questions of whether the searches are an effective policing tactic in a subway system that serves over 3 million riders per day.
Oh,
It says the newest effort is part of a multi-pronged approach to subway safety announced by Hochul Wednesday, which will include bag checks in busy New York City subway station, new legislation, and expand mental health outreach. And it says additional cameras will be installed in conductor cabins across New York City subway system after a conductor was slashed in Brooklyn. Cameras facing conductor cabins will also be installed on platforms. It says 2 years ago, Hochul announced that surveillance cameras will be put in all subway cars, the rollout of which has been sped up to address recent crimes. The MTA has already installed 15,000 cameras in subways, according to the MTA chair and CEO Jano Lieber. Hochul says she will introduce legislation to allow judges to ban people convicted of violent crimes on the subway from riding for at least 3 years. Similar legislation already exists, but has only been used 3 times since 2020, she said. That's kind of interesting, though. You hear that part, right? It's
yeah.
like, how do you keep how do you keep somebody, you know what I mean? How do you keep somebody off the subway system? Like, is there gonna be like
Exactly.
pictures? Is the camera? Are they gonna set up the camera to like pick up? You know what I mean? Because that's
Yeah.
kind of interesting to read
Yeah.
of how they're gonna do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I don't see. Like I understand the ban and all that, but I don't see how they're gonna maintain that because somebody can like ban easily just get a Metro card or whatever and just like go and go back on the subway. You know what I mean? Go. I don't see how that's gonna work. Hopefully they have a system of a way for it to work. But I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see how it is once it's implicated.
That's it. I think your connection's kind of on your side. I think.
Uh,
Um, I feel like I had this moment because we were talking before. Fine, I could hear you.
yeah,
Um, no, it's true. Because I'm trying to think. Well, she did put it says something about 2020, but I feel like they have moments where they do that, and then it kind of like it stops, and that's the part that sucks because I feel like it needs to be a continuous thing.
yeah,
Um, and it's just scary because I ride the train and the bus, and it just sucks because at times I like, you don't want to be paranoid when you're outside either, but at the same
yeah.
time, you have to be like alert, aware, of your surroundings and stuff. So it's
Mm,
kind of like I have to kind of like sit there and be on my own, like, not be too obvious and not really start staring people in the face. Cause the last time I did that, I think a guy told me he was like, yo, what the? And I'm just like, like, let me look away because in my head, I was like, it's not that serious. I just kind of looked up. It's not like I was really just like staring into his eyes and stuff, but
yeah,
it's scary,
yeah,
but it's just kind of yeah, I just kind of either I'm sitting or standing, but I'm watching, and if I hear people making noise, then I'm gonna look in the direction to see like what's happening. Is it just like people just making noise? Is
yeah,
something happening? But it just sucks that like now I have to be like looking around sometimes. And another thing that I've noticed, I think I mentioned to you before, and I've mentioned to somebody else that it's just like all of a sudden there's like so many homeless people now on the
yeah,
trains and says there's nowhere to sit in the morning or like even you have to like still look out for them because I feel like again with that whole part they were talking about the mental illness
mm,
because that's another concerning thing also with the homeless of when they're on the trains and on the platforms too because you never know. And I be just having moments when I see somebody walk by and I'm just like I was like, I hope they
yeah,
don't do nothing. I hope they don't try to be on some funny stuff. I try to keep cool because I think who was it? Somebody had told me when I said that what if one of them hits you? Like what if some homeless person hits you? Or even if it's just somebody who's just like riding the train hits you and somebody was just like you really can't like I don't know if they say you can't hit them back or something, but that kind of sucks because it's kind of like, does that now mean you now have to get beat up because in a way now you can't defend yourself? And like,
can't
how do
defend.
you plan on defending yourself?
Yeah,
Because it's kind of sad. I feel like there have been people who have intervened into certain situations. I mean, luckily it never went bad. For some, it has. So it's kind of tricky. Of like, damn, like, are you going to be by yourself in this situation? Because I think that's another reason of why they have to check people's bags in case, you know what I mean? If something does happen, you don't have to worry like, oh,
yeah,
cut, shot or whatever because the person, so I get that, but
yeah.
it,
That,
it's kind of scary though.
it is. It definitely is. And like I said, it's a double-edged sword with the process of what they're doing because it's like, yeah, they're looking out for your safety, but at the same time, the ways that they do it, like checking bags and making sure that you're doing, it's going to be an inconvenience for y'all. You know what I mean? That you have like you may have a bag and they want to check your bag and all that. So that's going to make you feel some type of way, and you're trying to go somewhere and it's going to be late. So
Right.
They're making
Right.
it bad. They're making
Mm.
it bad for everybody else. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. But I mean, like I said, I've seen it when I'm leaving from work. But
Okay.
I don't. I think when I was it this morning. Yeah. So this morning. So I feel like I think they do it when like people are actually like leaving because in the morning I didn't really see like so much of like a rush. I just feel like it was like I ain't see nothing set up. But now once I'm leaving to go home, that's when I see them there. And like I said, it just like it's supposed to make me it's supposed to make me feel safe. But then at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm just kind of like I be having my AirPods on, and
Mm,
I should really kind of take them off just in case if they happen to say something. But I be just
yeah.
having them on and just like again, just going about my day because I was like, that's it, the day's over. I'm going home.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I'm not saying like that's I think I could actually say that I'm glad that I guess I don't look I don't think I have that look of like, maybe she might be carrying something. This one looks dangerous here. I mean, because you never know. Looks can be deceiving though.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
because you never know. But at least I guess I'm not giving them off that vibe like, yo, we gotta check this one. We gotta
Exactly.
keep this one over here because
Yeah.
she looks suspicious. But again, at least yeah, at least it's a good thing that you know that they're doing that, and hopefully we could feel a little safer. But again, I don't know how long that's gonna last, and I feel like there should be. I'm hoping maybe I might have missed it because I don't have like regular TV like that. But I'm
Mm,
really hoping that they do have a conversation about like besides having the police on the platform, but what if there's a moment when they're not? Because there's been moments where usually there's no police on the platform depending on the station. So it's kind
yeah.
of like, what do you do to protect yourself? What do you know what I mean? Like, what can you do for yourself that will be okay? That be like, you know what, this is what self defense, or this is what I had to do. Because that's the thing that concerns me sometimes. Because it's just like, what are you supposed to do at that moment?
Exactly.
And it was just like the poor lady who the guy he pushed her into the tracks. It's like, was anybody? I'm assuming there were people around, but it was already. If I'm understood and what I heard, it was like the train was already approaching. So even if anybody wanted to help, it was already
Yeah.
kind of too late. And
Yeah.
then I think he eventually ended up escaping. But I just saw today on social media that it was like he has like an ex-girlfriend. I don't know if the little girl, the little girl that was with the lady when she was like doing the interview, if that was
Mm,
his daughter or his stepdaughter. But
mm,
he had, from what she said, he had stabbed her and her daughter. And the girl at the time was only 4 years old when that happened. So dude was already on parole.
yeah.
He was already on parole. Um, and then he did that. So the one of the attorneys was just like, or the lawyer was saying that because he ended up doing that, violating, and ended up, doing something else. That maybe this time, hopefully, he don't come out because I don't know
Yeah.
how this law and the system works, and it's scary.
It
Um,
is.
you know what I mean? Hearing that he stabbed someone and then he's out, and it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just scary.
It
It's
is. It definitely is.
I don't
It
really.
it gets you like really, I want to say, not trusting the system because it's like, why is this guy still out after all the stuff that he did? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's real scary. Like I can tell, there's like videos on social media every day about fights on the subway and just like um, mentally ill people just picking with random riders and punching them and doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And it's scary. It really is. Really scary. You know. I live in Norfolk, Virginia now, so but like we have like the buses too, and then we have like the light rail, and there's like homeless and mentally unstable people on there too. So you got to keep your guard up when you're riding that. 'Cause you don't know what they can do, and it's like it's all over. It really is. It's like you got to really keep your eyes open and your guard up to see, if you're safe, you know, riding transportation. You know what I'm saying? So it's a scary time. It really is.
No, it really is. Especially for the like 2024, and
Yeah.
I be talking about like after COVID. I just felt like everybody came out, and I'm just like, I don't. I'm like, what is happening? What happened to everybody?
Yeah.
Um, did you hear about the one from Philly about the high school students who had got shot at the bus stop?
Yeah. I heard
That
about that.
was just kind of scary. Like, again, social media, like that's where I catch the news for everything. And when I was reading that, that was kind of sad because I don't know if there was an intended target of like somebody at the bus stop, or it was just kind of like, and
Right.
it's kind of scary. Oh, so that was another thing why I wanted to have the conversation about like, are you safe anywhere, and especially in New York with the, the transportation system. Because when I seen that too, I was just kind of like, that's scary because my son travels, and then
Yeah.
when that happened, I still have moments. That's why I'm always asking him. Sometimes kids have moments where they don't understand like why you're asking them stuff. And then you
Yeah.
have to like basically let them know it's because like, you just want to make sure that they're okay, that they're on their way home, because I'm always asking him like, where are you at the moment?
Yeah.
And I think that would be the last thing I ever want to hear, because, he takes the bus. He usually, from what he's done, he takes the bus or the train.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, there's crazy people everywhere. They don't care if you're young, old, woman, man. They don't care about nothing, gender, age, nothing. When they're gonna do something, they're gonna do it, and that's it.
Exactly.
So, um, yeah. But when that happened, I was just kind of like, man, I was just like, he's in high school, he be traveling. I don't know anything that can happen out there. I mean,
Yeah.
luckily that out here hasn't been like, it's been like, the Wild Wild West, but
Yeah.
still just people that are just outside just still doing stuff.
Yeah.
um yeah, but it's just it's crazy. And
Yeah.
I've just gotten to the point where I was like, I wish I knew how to drive, or that I wish I knew how to drive, or like my friend will make fun of me because I don't know how to ride a bike, so I wish I knew how to do that. But then it's like, if I knew how to ride a bike, where the hell am I going to put all my bags? Because I already told you I'm like the bag lady. I don't putting on my bags and any stuff that I need to bring, because that would be interesting to figure out, because
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. Then spending money for Uber, I've seen how much it is from where I live to go over there, so that
Mhm.
would be that would be pretty pricey for like the week. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
just like, I'm just gonna have to be that New Yorker giving like that tough face of like, what are you gonna
That's
do?
exactly. Exactly. When I do like come up and visit New York, that's what I do. Like I go, like I'm on the subway, I just like look like try to look intimidating and just like nobody mess with me. You know what I mean? Like I wish somebody messed with me. See what happens. You know what I mean? So yeah, you got to keep that face so you'll protect yourself. And then like I said, keep your eyes open, look around, make sure nobody's like right next to you to do something to you. You know, so it's really scary. It really
I
is.
don't know. You're cut. Let me see. Hello.
Oh, you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I don't know why it does that. Do you have like an earpiece or something on?
I do. It probably is my earpiece. I'm about to take it off and see if you can hear
Okay.
me better.
Because I was
Yeah.
just like, what's going on? But yeah, there's been moments too where I'm just like, I've been so tired, and I'm like, and my mind is like, don't fall asleep, don't close your, you know what I mean? Like, don't close your eyes, don't do
Yeah.
any of that, because I've seen people who have fallen asleep on the train,
Yeah. I
and it's
never
just
do that.
like, people could like rob you, could do anything.
Hmm.
And I remember one time a guy, I think he was like, I think he wasn't even tired. He was like drunk, that he ended up, I think, dropping his phone.
Mm.
He didn't even notice that again because he was drunk. So the guy luckily picked it up and he just put it on the side of the seat. Um, But it should be just things like that. Like people are actually there watching you. I'm just like, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can't really fall asleep on the train like that. I was like, it sucks. As tired as I could be, I was like, I ain't doing it.
Nah. I
I'm
I
not
never
doing
did. My mom used to tell me, yeah, don't you ever fall asleep on the train, you know? You always gotta stay vigilant. You always gotta be aware of your surroundings, you know what I mean? So that's one thing I would never do, you know?
it. Right.
Yeah.
I know that so I leave for work. I'm already up like at almost like close to like 5 in the morning. I'm already up early.
Mm,
And I've noticed that the time change has been kind of weird. Um I can't explain that one. It's kind of weird to me. Because at one point when I would get out of the train, and this was almost like a week or two ago, when I would get out and it was like 6:30 to 6:45, and it was so nice. It was like bright outside and everything. I was like, okay,
mm,
this is cool. This works because I think just today it was dark, and then I have to walk to work. So what I do is that I walk. There's like a post office, so like I
yeah,
walk there where I feel like a little bit comfortable because it's like um, because I'm like, if I walk on the other way, I'm like, there's a lot of homeless people. I don't know who could be around there. So I'll just
yeah,
walk that way. But again, I'm always on alert. Always on alert, just making sure, trying to see if somebody's standing somewhere, what they're doing. I'm waiting to see are they gonna cross the street? Are they just gonna
yeah,
stand there now? Because I've like I said, I've never I can actually say that being that I'm gonna be 44 years old, I've never been attacked or anything in the street,
that's
in the
good.
subway, in the bus, So I'm happy and I'm grateful for that. But it's just like you never know. Like anything can just happen. But I'm just still always very alert. I'm like, I will be on some like what's that guy doing over there? Like, let me give it a few and see. Or I'll turn around and see if like somebody's like behind me or following me because I don't have time for
Yeah,
that. Like I was like, it's
exactly.
never happened to me. I don't know how I would react, but I'm just still still aware of like what would I do? Would I just like let them just take my shit or like I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just like I'm always just having one of those moments and it just sucks that that's the type of the world we live in that you just have to, you got to
yeah,
worry for safety and you just never know. But yeah,
exactly.
the train and the buses. I feel like it's mostly the train. For the bus,
Yeah, yeah. I'm
it's
I'm hearing more stuff happening on the train than the bus. You know.
at least on the bus, the only issue is it's just the crowding. I think that's the part
Hmm.
that I just like the most because I'll be just like, okay, I'm waiting for the weather to change. I feel like maybe once it's a little bit, we're in like that nice spring weather. You just gotta put
Yeah.
on a sweater, keep it moving. I'll probably just walk home because there've been moments where I've been in packed bus and I'm gonna be one of those people like I do not take my book bag off because they'll be like,
Yeah.
take your bag off, give space,
Hmm.
but I leave it on. It's just too much stuff to be holding on to, so I leave it on, and then
Yeah.
it be like so crowded, people trying to squeeze in, and I'll be looking around thinking like, where do you want to go this bus? Like, where is the space on this
Exactly.
bus that you want to go? And then at times when it's not packed, there's just people that literally want to just like stand in front of you. And since I have the book bag, so I'm like pushed out a little bit more. And I'm
Yeah.
just like having a moment like, yo, like, I just can't. It just has to be like a woosah, like, just make it to the train station or make it to where I'm going and that's it because I don't know. That's what I was saying. Common sense is not common. It's not. It really is
No.
not.
No, not at all. Put my
People just
glasses
do stuff and you just kind of and it's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's crazy now. Like also like you said, dealing with the homeless people is also like this new generation of young kids that's like messing with people on the train and on the bus, and they're you know just starting arguments and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a chaotic time.
right, what is this? Hmm. Don't mind me. I'm looking at my thing like, what is
Ah,
this? I want to see. I'm over here checking my Facebook. Yeah. Okay. So I was just trying to check. Um. But yeah. I don't know. It just gets hard every every time, every day of, like I said, besides the crime, it's just more of the homelessness. I don't watch the news, but I don't think I've been seeing it actually being posted
yeah,
on social media, but it's more of just all the homeless people. I feel like it's not even an exaggeration because I remember, like, okay, so at one point I do remember, yeah, there were homeless people. You'll probably get like the one or two cars, but it just wouldn't be like, as you're seeing the train pass by, you're seeing like two, three people in that one car, one just sitting there, slouch, one lay up across. One time I think it was like a couple just like laid out on the seats. And then in my
yeah,
head I'm thinking like, that's another thing too. I was like, do you know how many times we probably have sat on these seats where somebody homeless has probably been laying there, don't know what they got, and we're sitting
yeah,
on it because I don't think the what do you call it? Um, I guess like I guess you want to call it like the cleanup crew. Um, I don't think they have enough time to really do that, and they don't really be at all the stops. So
yeah, yeah.
that's
Like
about
sanitized and
that.
everything.
Yeah, yeah. I only see
Yeah,
it maybe at the last stop wherever the train is before it starts to before it leaves the station. But I be just thinking about that. I'm just like, man, I was like, I be tired, but then I'm sitting sometimes probably in a spot where somebody homeless was like sleeping here. Oh my god, let me tell you. I think this was Sunday,
mm,
and I decided I wanted to. I was like, I left the gym, and I was like, today's like cardio day. I ran up the stairs to make sure I
mm,
caught that train. Now the funny part was when I started walking to the back to get towards the end of one of the cars, I happened to look when I turned around. Somebody had spit on the train door, and in my head I was like, I'm so glad I didn't turn around and lean up against, because then that's another thing. Now I gotta be looking at stuff. I
yeah.
gotta be looking at stuff. Do you understand how paranoid I would be from so many things besides
Oh
just worrying
yeah,
about just besides worrying about like crime and just like who's around, just like all the other nastiness that you find in public the transportation. Because
yeah.
it was
Of
that.
course.
Then I saw sorry. I saw there was a page, I think, I don't know if it's called like Subway Creatures, but I just know it has the word like it has to do with Subway. And then they
Mm.
show that there was a rat on top of, like, you did you see that?
I
I
think I
think it was
did.
one of the stories. There was a rat on top of one of the poles of, like, when I think the ones you either holding on or the, like, I forgot. This is like a shape one that can
Yeah.
actually hold on from in the middle too. And when I saw that, do you know what I did?
What's
First,
that?
when I saw that, I ended up doing one of these. I was just like looking around. I was like, "Fuck!" Now another thing that I have to add onto my list besides the people on the train. Now I gotta make sure there's no rodents on top of like the pole or anywhere where they can hang from. Cause I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell is that? Like,
It's
where did that even come from?
it's crazy. Yeah.
I was
It's
just like,
like it's crazy, but it's like another day in New York. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know you seen the one with the rat was just like growing like on the floor, and then he climbed on the guy who was asleep.
oh
He
my
was
god, yeah.
yeah, he was climbing on him, and he woke up and just flung him off. And yeah, it's scary. Yeah, that's one of the other reasons why I do not sleep on the train. You know.
I don't think I would have been as calm as him. That I'm surprised that he just did that, like just flicked it away. I probably would have been on some drama type thing, screaming, "Oh my god!" I would have been freaking out for a minute because it was
Yeah.
on me. But he just did that shit, like, "Oh, this is like you said, another day in New York. Oh, just the road and bloop. Just let me just swat him off." Uh, I feel like those rats have become kind of smart too, and I'm just like, I'm telling you, there's
Yeah.
just so much stuff happening outside that I'm like, I don't even trust that either. I've
Yeah.
seen videos of one rat. I think I mentioned. I think he had a piece of food, and he knew that there was a hole, like on the ceiling, like the ceiling, and it was like right there in the wall, and it was
Yeah.
to jump up with the food to get into the hole, and I'm like,
Wow.
I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm glad when they're down there, I see them in the tracks and not too much on the platform because I'd be doing one of these like, huh, to see it.
Yeah.
I was like, they go back, but then they come back out. I was like, yeah, they're not really scared of us because
No, not at all. They so used to seeing people walk around, or they it's like nothing to them. You know.
I'm just like, that's just too much. You see what I'm saying? If it's not one thing, it's another. It's just so much happening,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even if it's not New York City, but just so much happening in the transportation system.
Yeah.
Not one thing, it's another. Between sanitary stuff of like all the things people do,
Yeah.
the rodents, the homeless people, and everything else. But
Yeah. Definitely. It's crazy. And then like you said, it's not just in New York; it's everywhere. I'm seeing videos of Atlanta, LA, Seattle, like going through the same stuff, and it's like I said, that's why a lot of people do Uber and Lyft now because they scared to go on public transportation.
right, it's sad though. I've
Yeah.
thought about like if we could just bring back like riding horses, but then I don't know about that either, because you know me, I'm like, if we could go back to like the old days of like you had your own little what do you call it, like a chariot, like those little the little cart, their own little
Oh
version
yeah,
of a car with the horse, the
yeah.
carriage, something like that.
The carousel, yeah,
So
the little captain buggy or whatever.
yeah, it that
Yeah,
would be, I don't know, I feel like it would just be nice to bring some things back, but I mean, when you really look at stuff, I mean, it has its pros and its cons, because if it happens to get stuck somewhere, and then, I mean, it would be the same thing with a car or anything else, but
yeah,
uh, weather-wise and all that. But it's just like, I don't know. Again, this is what happens. I'm gonna say it again because I don't know how to ride a bike. I think life would have been easier. I would even say
yeah.
a car, because that's another thing. People have to like leave early because everybody else, you know what I mean, is trying to
Exactly.
drive to work too. But oh no, it's gonna be like that. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
letting people from the pages of like Subway Creatures just watching everything that's always happening. And then I think there was a moment, man, there's something happened on the train where I don't know if it was somebody was doing something, they looked a certain way, and I go, oh, I remember what it was. He was sitting down at one point, and then he got up, I think before the next stop came, and then he was just like dancing. And I don't even know if he had headphones or not, but it was just funny because I look over and I'm just like, he's just over here like dancing, moving side to side, just doing all that. So then I kind of look at him, and then I make eye contact with somebody. Like we kind of look at each other like we saw, like you just saw that, like yeah, I saw that. And then I kind of look over there to see like, yo, anybody else is like seeing this? But that be the jokes when they say that like New Yorkers, like this is nothing, like it's
yeah,
just, it's one of those
it's
things, like it is what it is, like we know what's happening here.
yeah,
I feel like people are kind of like, if it's not affecting me or they're not doing anything for, I guess, for like for us to be in fear, we're just gonna let them just do whatever. You know what I mean? That's where I
Yeah.
think we're at now. Just like let people do whatever they want as long as they're not
Exactly.
harming anybody.
Yeah.
So
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that it was? You know how they say, in the '70s and the '80s in New York, it was scary time to be riding the train and all that as well. Do you think it's more scarier now than it was back then?
man, that would have been like I should have asked my mom that, or
Yeah.
I wonder if I should. As a matter of fact, let's call Mama Dukes right now.
Yeah.
If she's still up and if she still got her phone on, because that'd be the whole thing
Okay.
too. Let's see.
Yeah.
Put her on speaker. That's a good question because as a kid growing up, I don't really remember. I just know that the trains were like graffitied and tagged up, like stuff
Yeah. It
and
was all
shit.
tagged up graffiti, and
Hey,
I
mom.
heard there was like a tough time.
Yeah. No, not yet. I turned off my phone. Oh, you're about to? Oh, okay. Well, real quick, because I'm over here doing my podcast show. Um, so Reggie just asked me like back in the days, well, I guess more like in the 80s, because you were out here already. He's saying like, was it bad back then, like riding the trains and stuff, during that time? No, I wasn't here in the 80s. You remember you were born in the 80s. I was in Florida. I came around 82, 83. Yeah, mom, but uh-huh. It wasn't. No, it wasn't. She said it wasn't.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
No, because we're talking about how things are now. Because remember, we've had conversations about like yeah, now it's bad. But their days no era tan malo. It was graffiti. The train wall. Right, saying the graffiti. And stuff, but
Hmm.
killing and shooting and all that crap is going on now. Ah, so yeah, that's because I was thinking the same thing. She's saying it was just back then wasn't as bad as now. So she
Okay.
does see that's nothing. I got a picture of you there in the train. All you see is graffiti. No, I've seen the pictures. I think I have one. I think I have one of them. Me sitting in yeah. So yeah, I know. Cause I'm saying that's what I was saying too. Cause I remember we've taken the train and stuff like that, but I don't ever remember that having to be scared or worried that somebody was gonna do something. It's just more now. It wasn't that
Yeah.
bad. The one that she started como dice after I think after the ¿cómo se llama eso? The COVID. Yeah, after that shit got loose, it seemed like all the crazy people, everybody got sick or something of the brain. Everybody got sick and yeah. Started with all this crime. Yeah. But it wasn't that bad before either. It was there, but not like now. Now it's like, oh my God. You have to look everywhere you walk, anything you do, you have to be looking, making sure ain't no maniac behind you or something. Right, right, right. That's what I was just talking about on here. Yeah. All right, mom. Okay. So I'll let you go, right? Yeah, okay. All right, bye. Yeah, I had to ask because I'm kind of like she should know. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember like back in the days, and it's true. I've seen the pictures too, like me sitting in the train or me and her sitting on the train, and all I remember is the same thing. Like she said, like the graffiti, but I've never had a moment where I was just like seeing anything strange. It's just like later on, as time went by, it just
Yeah.
kind of it just kind of progressed. But I think another thing too is like the people that be on there asking for like change for food. So I feel like a lot of that it comes of the aggression and how people act from that too. Because I try to be as nice, and that was another thing that it's a miracle nobody's done anything crazy when it
Mm.
comes to that. Because usually they're on in the car, like going from car to car asking for help, and they'll be like right in your face, and I'm just like, oh my god, and I have to again
Yeah.
on my New York like face, like like gotta be all like, sorry, I can't help you. I
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
be
Of course. Yeah.
because I don't want to be rude either. Because there, people could be rude. And I was like, I don't need to do all that. I'll just be like, sorry, I can't, and just like leave it at that.
Yeah.
But I do remember there was a time, I don't know if that could have been before COVID, but there was like a homeless guy, and for some reason he just started with this lady out of nowhere, and we're all like sitting there looking at this, and one guy actually had to say something. He was like,
Mm.
"Yeah, leave the lady alone. She's not doing anything to you." Because he was literally about to like start either. I don't know if he he was just like yelling at her to the point I don't know if he would have attacked her, but
Yeah,
you see stuff like that was just so random because she
exactly.
wasn't even doing anything. He just decided he was like, I'm gonna pick on this one right here, and that's it. There was nothing for, nothing to like motivate him to even get like that. But
Yeah, I think that's the scary part. The most scariest part is like they can do it randomly. Like they can, whoever's the aggressor can just see you and just like pick you out of anybody. Out of 100 people that's down there, they'll pick you to mess with. You know what I mean? That's the most scary part.
right.
Yeah.
Man, I have stories. I mean, not things that, well, stuff that I've personally seen, but then
Mm,
stuff I've seen on social media. I don't know because you're out there, but there was also the one with the lady, I think on 59. It could have been 59th Street, probably on the 5 and the
okay.
6, where the train was just approaching too. The train was
Mm,
just approaching and they show like, and it was weird. I don't know if somebody was just randomly recording or if that came off the officer's body cam or something, because
mm,
you could see the moment where the lady walks over and she pushes the other lady towards like the edge of
yeah.
like there, and she missed the train by that much. All it did was like when she hit, her
Wow.
body hit the train. It was just like one of those roll movements, and
Mm,
luckily, it could have been way worse than that. And
exactly.
that's you see what I'm saying. But that's another thing about people have a habit, and I've watched that. I'm like, I know this is New York City. Trust me, we all anybody from New York City knows it gets crowded. You want to
Hmm.
go home, and you don't really want to wait for like the 15 train to come by because most of the trains during rush hour come packed. But I usually see people standing. I think it's the yellow line. I think it's the yellow line.
Yeah.
People are standing like right, and I'm looking like mad paranoid. I was just like, what if some idiot decides to come by and just give you like one little, just like one little push?
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Me,
and I hear that I hear that like a couple times a year, just like yeah, somebody just randomly push somebody, onto the tracks and all that. And that's another thing that I was taught not to, be on the edge of the platform, try to see the train. No, you have to back up because you never know. So that's another thing. And yeah,
right? Because
I,
now
I
we
couldn't do
have
it.
machines. I don't
Yeah.
do it either. I just know that we have now where it lets us know, we can visually see it. It lets us know when the train's coming, or sometimes they'll announce it and tell you how far or how long
Yeah.
before the next train comes. I have this thing where I will stand in the middle of the platform. I don't care who's walking by. If I don't, I'm over here having a moment. Like, you could walk around me, you could walk close, like close by me. I don't care, but I'm standing right here because
Yeah.
just in case if they happen to do something, I'm still in the middle. Unless they're trying to
Hmm.
drag me or something, but I'm standing right here where there will be no reason for somebody just to, just give you one little nudge because you're so close to
Yeah.
where, like, you're in front of the yellow line. And I don't know. I feel like people, I don't know what they're thinking in their heads. I don't know if they feel bold enough. They're just like, yeah, let somebody come and, come nudge me or do something. I don't know. Or they're just
Yeah.
the thing of just them wanting to go home, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna stand here when the train gets here, I'm already
Yeah.
here. And but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Who
not a
knows what goes in their head? And like I said, we don't know. Like that's scary. Like what can drive a person to do stuff like that?
right. So I think I'm just gonna like close from here, but of
Mm.
course, to my friends and everybody out there, all the New Yorkers that are out there, we already know. I think it's just like I was saying, it's just like we can only protect ourselves only so much. Because, like I said, I've learned that law and that whole thing about that if someone does something to you, you have to match what they're doing. You can't
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do anything past of if they slap you and you go and stab them, now you're the aggressor. So that's just the scary part because again, like you could I'm feeling like you can defend yourself again as long as it's not you're not doing anything that's more of what they're doing. But again, it's scary because when I heard of that, I'm thinking like, damn, so I'm supposed to let just somebody like, just slap me and or whatever because
Yeah.
I think that happened to a lady one time. She was
Mm,
sitting down and somebody just came or they were passing by and they just went like that and I think they had gave her like a cut on top of the
mm,
eyebrow or something. And I'm like, it's just too
that's
much.
crazy. Yeah.
It's too much of to really figure out how much can you really protect yourself and is
Yeah.
anybody, but again, I'm hoping that with what they're doing, that will make it a little bit easier. That if you do have to get into a little scuffle with somebody, you're hoping that again, this is somebody that's not carrying anything. This is somebody that um, because my mom is funny. She was just like before I finish this, she was kind of like, what if they don't have anything in their bag and they have it like in their pants? But I'm just like, I don't know how people carry. I don't know. I haven't seen. I mean, I know I've seen movies and I've seen people talk about how they just take things out of their pants. I don't know where they
Yeah.
got it hiding and how well it's gonna stay tucked in there, but um, that's what she was saying. She's like, they might not have it in their bag. They'll probably have it on their body, and I'm just like, yeah, that's a
Yeah. I
good
think
point.
so too.
That's a good point. I get it. Then nobody can
Yeah.
see it, but yeah, it just kind of sucks. Of course, like I say, everybody out there, we already know. Just stay aware, stay alert,
Most
just
definitely.
just be cautious out there. And again, not even in New York, anywhere. Just I feel like I've always said this thing like you always gotta go with your gut instinct for a lot of things, even if it's just simple things while you're outside. Because I think I did that yesterday. I was just like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna walk this way with the group of I think I'm gonna just take the longer walk around, even if I don't want to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I do the same thing. I do the same. It's like I said, like the younger generation. You don't know what they up to. You don't know what's in their heads. You see a group of them sometimes, and you're waiting for the bus or on the train. You just try to step back and go the other way. You know what I mean? Try to not to. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what they're gonna do.
right, you gotta really think about it's a lot of things. But like I said, it sucks. I'm out here, like I said, even if it's not New York, it's anywhere. But I mean, me as the New Yorker out here, I'm like, yeah, I'm always on alert. At the same time, it's like I think I said, somebody said, they're not going to be walking around also in fear because of the things that have been happening and the stuff that always happens. But I get
Hmm.
it too. Like I still walk regularly, like not on some like every minute like that, but I have
Yeah.
my moments where I'm just like, I probably might give a little look back just to see, like, okay, or I'm watching what's in front of me where I don't have to be, having like the head, doing one of those swivels, but I'm watching
Yeah.
everything as I'm passing by, or I'll be just on some like, how they be like, you can see things from like the corner of your eye, or just kind of like when you walk in like that whole peripheral thing of
Yeah.
like, there's something here. And I walk like that too, just in case, because I'm already on some like I'm gonna be already on, Flex is ready on some like, hold up.
Exactly. Yep.
It's crazy that you really
It
have
is.
you really got to be like that though.
Yeah. It really is.
But
Yep.
yeah, so yep, 2024, and this is the stuff that's been happening, and I'm hoping that, like they said, the National Guard and everything that they're doing, I hope that it lasts for a little while, and hopefully that'll make some changes, or maybe into the cameras and the stuff that they said they're gonna install, and I guess we'll just
Yeah.
see how it goes from there and how much that'll help. Yeah,
Exactly.
'cause we pay money. We pay money.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Most definitely.
we
Especially if it's for safety.
290, and I'm scared when it happens to go up more from 290. So it's like I'm hoping that it doesn't continue. That the last thing I want to hear. Anyway, I probably won't even be here. First of all, if we're talking about years from now, next thing you know, it'd be like $10 just to
Oh
go
yeah.
one way and then come back. Imagine. But
Yeah.
like I said, I hope it never gets to that point. Again, in my head, I'm like, that'll probably be when I'm not here years
Mm,
from now. I don't know how bad stuff is gonna get or what's gonna happen, but yeah, it's
yeah,
just it's always something. But yeah, we paying like it went up to 90 because they said whatever reasons they had. So we need that
yeah,
protection. Like I'll be like I'll be okay. Like it's cool if I'm paying the 290. It's like if we got yeah sure I'll be like I'll be quiet. It's like if we're giving like 15, I'm like yeah I'll pay the 290. That's fine. It
yeah,
is what
yeah.
you gotta do what you gotta do. So you know
Exactly.
that would be the
Yeah,
only time I would be okay with it. So
yeah.
but thank you for being on the show to have this conversation with me and as usual as I always say before I end the show,
Oh, no problem. No problem at all. I'm glad to be here.
thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you and everybody else who's come on. So, um, but like I always say, live life to the fullest. Just enjoy life. That's all we can do.
So we, yeah.
So, with that being said, I just want to say good night, and I'll see you guys again next week. Bye.
Bye.